Some screen share na. Okay. Now we are going to take up a straight problem in chapter 14 and as well as the multiple choice problems and theory. But take note that chapter 14 is merely a continuation of chapter 13. But in chapter 14, the focus of the shipments to the branch is at billed price. Unlike in chapter 13 that the shipments to branch are made at cost. Now this time it's at billed price, meaning at above cost. Now, will you refer to problem number 5? And problem number 5 involves adjustments, closing entries, worksheet, separate and combined statements. Now, to go over the problem, we are going to emphasize the highlights. On December 31, 2024, the end of a monthly period, the following trial balances were prepared for the Spencer Company and its branch. Merchandise was billed to the branch by the home office at 120% of cost. Okay, so we are now given the accounts found in the books of both the home office and the branch. Take note that in the books of the home office, we have the account, a credit of unrealized intercompany inventory profit, a credit of 3,700. Then we have also in the books of the home office, we have the branch account with a debit balance of 33,760. Then we have the account credited by the home office, shipment to branch, 8,500. Okay, so these are the accounts which are considered to be reciprocal accounts as found in the books of the home office. Okay, so now we have in the books of the branch, we have the reciprocal accounts, including the account shipments from home office with a debit balance of 10,200 that appears on the debit side. And on the credit side, we have the account home office. So we now get the amount of 32,040. Okay? So take note that the reciprocal accounts as found in the books of the home office and the branch. Likewise, we are given the following data available on December 31. Merchandise inventories, home office, 24,200. Branch, 14,600. But the 14,600 is composed of merchandise received from the home office at billed price of 11,700. So it was at 120% of cost, and merchandise purchased from outsiders of 2,900. So that is the composition of the merchandise inventory of the branch. Store supplies on hand, home office, and branch. Prepaid expenses, credit, miscellaneous, general expense, home office, 350, branch, 120. So in other words, we have to make the corresponding adjusting entries. Then we have for the accrued expenses, debit, general expense, miscellaneous, general expense, home office, 260, and branch, 105. Depreciation of furniture and fixtures is recorded at 1% a month. So 1% based on the cost. A cash remittance of 1,500 had been recorded on the branch books, but the cash had not yet been received by the home office and no entry has been made. So we have now cash in transit, already recorded by the branch but not by the home office. So because it is still in transit. The home office had charged the branch with the following expenses that have not yet been recorded by the branch: taxes and insurance for 220. Now we have four requirements, but I'm going to begin with requirement number 4 so as to familiarize us with the corresponding adjustments before we move on to the final amounts found in our worksheet. So take note that there are amounts in the worksheet which are no longer the amounts given in the trial balance in the problem because we already have to reflect the adjusting and even the closing entries. So for requirement number 4, we will just go back to the first 3 requirements afterwards. For the branch books, we have the following adjusting and closing entries. The first one is to close the merchandise inventory beginning of the branch. In the trial balance, under the column branch, inventory on December 1 is 14,400, and we have to close this by a debit to income summary and credit merchandise inventory. So the account merchandise inventory for its beginning balance is already closed. Then also we have to record the merchandise inventory at the end of December. So given among your additional information that the ending inventory of the branch is 14,600. So we now debit to merchandise inventory and to credit income summary 14,600. Then for the store supplies expense, still on December 31, data here, store supplies on hand, home office 380 and branch 300. The beginning balance of the store supplies account in the books of the branch was 580. So minus the ending inventory of 300, we now record the expense portion of 280. So debit to store supplies expense and to credit store supplies by 280. So that if you will post the credit to store supplies of 280, the original balance was 580. The difference is 300. So that supplies on hand at the end of December, it's 300. That's your store supplies inventory on December 31. Then also, we are going to record the prepaid expenses. For the branch, prepaid expenses amounted to 120, which we have to credit general miscellaneous expense. So, general miscellaneous general expense in the books of the branch had a balance of 700. So our next entry in the books of the branch is to debit prepaid expenses 120 and to credit miscellaneous general expense. So that will be a deduction being a credit to miscellaneous general expense. Then for 105, that amount is an accrued expense. Debit miscellaneous general expense For the branch, 105. So again, for the branch, debit miscellaneous general expense and to credit accrued expenses for 105. Okay, so take note that we will be providing adjustments to the original balance of miscellaneous general expense because now we have a credit and a debit. Next entry to debit, depreciation expense for furnitures and fixtures, and to credit accumulated depreciation of the furnitures and fixtures of the branch. So we now have 1% of the cost of 3,600. So for 1 month, the depreciation expense is 36. Then the next entry now is to debit miscellaneous general expense of 220 and the credit to home office current. Now, because the home office had charged the branch with this taxes and insurance for 220. So, the debit is to miscellaneous general expense and to credit home office current. An additional accountability of the branch to the home office is credited. Okay? Then we go to the closing entries of the home office. The closing entries of the home office. In that case, we are going to debit the accounts with credit balance and we have to credit the accounts with debit balances. So the next entry now is to debit sales. We now debit to sales for the sales of the branch. We debit to sales for 20,000 and credit to income summary. And credit to income summary. Then the second entry of the branch, is to debit income summary for 22,221 and to credit purchases of the branch 4,100, credit shipments from home office 10,200, credit advertising expense 2,800, credit salaries and commissions expense 2,350, credit store supplies expense for 280 and credit miscellaneous selling expense for 1,050. We are still on journal entries. Credit to rent expense for 1,500. Credit to depreciation expense of furniture and fixtures 36 and to credit miscellaneous general expense for 905. And the next entry in the books of the branch is to debit home office current for 3,021 and to credit income summary. In other words, this is the income or the loss of the branch. Now, actually, it's a loss because the income summary debit is greater than the credit regarding sales. So we now have the amount of the loss of the branch before deducting the profit on intercompany inventory. The original loss of the branch is 3,021. So we now debit it to home office current and credit to income summary. Now those are the entries of the branch. We need the entries in the preparation of the working paper. Now also in the books of the Home Office, we have the following adjustments and elimination entries. The first is to debit income, summary, and credit merchandise inventory. Now this is for the beginning inventory of the Home Office. Then also we debit to merchandise inventory and credit income summary for the ending inventory, the month of December. Also, we debit to store supplies expense for 560 and credit to store supplies. The original balance of the store supplies account given in the trial balance is 940, and on December 31, store supplies on hand is equal to 380. So meaning the portion expense is 560. Then we debit to prepaid expense. We debit to prepaid expense in the books of the Home Office in the amount of 350 and credit miscellaneous general expense. Credit miscellaneous general expense. So we debit to prepaid expense for 350 and credit miscellaneous general expense. Okay, for 350. Then for accrued expense, we debit to miscellaneous general expense for 260 and we credit to accrued expenses 260. We also record depreciation in the amount of 85, credit to accumulated depreciation. 1% of 8,500 is 85. That's the depreciation expense of the Home Office. Then also on December 31, the Home Office will debit to cash in transit 1,500 and to credit branch current. Debit to cash in transit and to credit branch current for 1,500. On December 31, we have to close the nominal accounts with credit balances. So we now debit to sales 44,850. Debit to sales 44,850. Debit to shipments to branch for 8,500 and to credit income summary. For the second entry is to debit income summary for 42,405 and to credit the following accounts. We have a credit to purchases 27,600, 27,600. Credit to advertising expense 2,850. Credit salaries and commission expense 4,250. Credit store supplies expense for 560. Credit miscellaneous selling expense 1,850. Credit rent expense 2,700. Credit depreciation expense, furniture and fixtures 85, and credit miscellaneous general expense. So take note that we have a credit to income summary of 53,350 and a debit to income summary for 42,405. Next entry in the books of the Home Office is to debit branch income summary for 3,021 and to credit branch current. That is for the net loss of the branch, 3,021. However, the branch income summary debit will be reduced by a credit of 1,750 pertaining to the unrealized intercompany inventory profit at the end of December. So we now calculate the unrealized profit adjustment. The balance of unrealized profit account given in your trial balance on December 31. We are given unrealized intercompany profit in the books of the home office with an amount of 3,700. Then we have the inventory merchandise received from home office at billed price on December 31. Take note that the inventory of the home office or the inventory of the branch is composed of two amounts. One is from shipments from home office at billed price, and the other one is from outside suppliers. So for the inventory received from the home office at billed price, since the billing rate is 120% of cost, now we divide 11,700 by 120%. So the cost of the inventory billed at 11,700 is 9,750. So if the bill price of the inventory is 11,700 and the cost is 9,750, in other words, the unrealized intercompany profit included is 1,950. Now that is the unrealized profit on December 31. The correct balance is 9,750, or the cost is 9,750. So the unrealized profit is 1,950. If the balance of the unrealized profit is 3,700 and 1,950 applies to the ending inventory end at bill price, meaning 1,750 is the required decrease in unrealized profit adjustment to branch income for overstatement of cost of goods sold. In other words, the cost of goods sold is understated because the merchandise shipped by the home office is also overstated since the billed price is 120% of cost. So we now get the overstatement of cost of goods sold, which is also the amount of adjustment to branch income. That is the required decrease in unrealized profit. So 1,750. The debit to branch income summary, that's the original loss of the branch. And we have a credit of 1,750. The difference is 1,271. That is the real income of the branch. We now debit to income summary for 1,271 and credit to branch income summary. So branch income summary is finally closed at 1,271. So finally, we now debit to income summary 2,374 and credit to retained earnings. That's for the combined income of both parties. Now, we have the journal entries are very, very important. And now we are going to proceed to, actually we are through with requirement number 4. We will proceed to requirement number 2, the worksheet for combined statements for home office and branch. So now will you refer to, actually this one is requirement number 2. I do not know if you can have this bigger, but take note, we have this data given. Okay, now some of these figures are already after adjustments. Since we prepare the adjustments in our adjustments and elimination entries. That's why I started with requirement number 1. Requirement number 4. I started with requirement number 4 so you can really see the adjustments. Okay, now we go to the worksheet. Actually, this is requirement number 2. And we have now the worksheet for, we are given these figures in the problem, except those with adjustments. So we now have cash. The amounts are the same as in the book, your balance, trial balance amounts. Then we have the cash in transit. If you have your entry in your adjustments and elimination, the home office made an entry to record cash in transit. When it debited the account cash in transit 1,500 and credit to branch current. So there is a credit to branch current in the amount of 1,500. That is an entry, no? Because we already have your adjusting entry in the books of the home office. So now we are carrying to our worksheet, include cash in transit. Then we have accounts receivable, the same as in the book. Then we have merchandise inventory, December 1, copied from the book. Your store supplies are already after your adjustments, entries for the home office. We now debit to store supplies expense and credit to store supplies. The original balance of store supplies was 940. 940. The expense portion is 560. So the ending balance is 380. Take note that your home office column, the amount of store supplies is already after your adjustments. The same with the branch. So we now have the branch after adjustments. Then your prepaid expenses, in the books of the home office, we are debiting prepaid expenses and credited miscellaneous general expense for 350. We just copy branch. Sir, furnitures and fixtures, 85 and 36. Then we have the branch account. Given in the book is the branch account of 33,760. Okay, in the book, it's a debit. Now we credit to branch for 1,500. That's one of the adjusting entries of the home office. Debit to cash in transit and credit to branch current by 1,500. So our branch account is already 32,260. Then we are going to record debit to retained earnings. In other words, at the beginning of the period, you had retained earnings deficit. Then we copy purchases and shipments from home office is a credit. Okay, then we have your, no, shipments from home office. By the way, it's a debit. It appears among the debits of the branch. Shipments from home office is a debit balance in the books of the branch. Then we have advertising expense. We just copy from the book. Salaries and commission expense. Store supplies expense because of your adjusting entry. So 560 and 280. Miscellaneous selling expense, just copy from the book. There are no adjustments to that. The same with rent expense. Your depreciation expense is 1%. So 1% of 8,500 and 1% of the furnitures and fixtures of the home office. This time amounting to 8,500. That of the branch is 3,600. Okay? Then we have your miscellaneous, the general expense. We already have 2,510 in the home office books. How did we get 2,510? The original balance of your miscellaneous general expense in the books of the home office was 2,600. 2,600. Our journal entry where we debited prepaid expense and credited miscellaneous general expense. So we credit for the amount of 350 for your prepaid expense. So minus miscellaneous general expense, 350. Then for accrued expense, another journal entry is to debit miscellaneous general expense and credit accrued expense. So we add 260. So 2,600 minus 350 plus 260 is 2,510 in the books of the home office among the debits. In the books of the branch, among the debits, miscellaneous general expense initially had a debit balance of 700. Then we deduct 120, and 120 is your prepaid expense in the books of the branch. We debit to prepaid expense 120 and credit miscellaneous general expense. So we deduct 120 and added 105 as debit to miscellaneous general expense, 105 and credit to accrued expenses. Then we are going to debit further miscellaneous general expense for 220 and credit home office current. So the adjusted balance of miscellaneous general expense in the books of the branch is 905. Taken as beginning balance 700, then we deduct 120, we added 105 and added 220. The final balance of the account in the books of the branch is 905. It's 905. That is in the books of the branch. Okay. So we have The total of the debits in the books of the home office, 160,295, and that in the books of the branch is 57,141. The merchandise inventory on December 31 of the home office, 24,200 of the branch, 14,600. Now we go to the credits of the home office. We now have accumulated depreciation. Initially at 2,500 in the books of the home office. So we are crediting another 85. So that makes it 2,585. Then for that of the branch, initially it was 540. And in our adjusting entry, we credited for 36 to accumulated depreciation. So it's 576. Then we have the account unrealized intercompany inventory profit, initially with a credit of 3,700. Accounts payable or both, and accrued expenses now after adjustments for the home office and the branch. And we have the home office account now with 32,040. Now we have 32,260 after your adjustments and eliminations. Capital stock, credit, and now we have sales for both home office and branch, and shipments to branch is a debit of 850. Shipments to branch is an amount of 8,500. Shipments to branch. Actually, that's a credit in the books of the home office. So the total credits now equals the total debits. In the books of the branch, we have accumulated depreciation, 576, accounts payable, accrued expenses. In the elimination entries, adjustments and eliminations, then we have your home office and sales of 20,000. So the total credits of the branch is 57,141. Okay, so those are your debits and your credits in the books of the home office and the branch. Now we go to the adjustments and elimination columns. We now eliminate, normally in the books of the home office, normally the account branch is a debit. In the books of the home office, the account branch is a debit. In the books of the branch, the account home office is a credit. So our elimination entry, letter A, is to debit home office 32,260 and credit branch. So debit home office 32,260 and credit branch. Entry letter A. Then entry letter B is to debit unrealized intercompany inventory profit for 1,700. That's letter B. And B also, we have to debit shipments to branch. So your entry for letter B is to debit unrealized intercompany inventory profit for 1,700. Debit shipments to branch for 8,500, and to credit shipments from home office for 10,200. Entry B now eliminates shipments from home office and shipments to branch, and unrealized intercompany inventory profit. Next, for letter C, we now record debit to unrealized intercompany profit for 2,000, debit unrealized intercompany profit for 2,000, and credit the account for closing the amount of 2,000. We credit 2,000 to merchandise inventory beginning. So we are now crediting for letter C, debit to unrealized intercompany profit to make the balance zero, and credit to merchandise inventory beginning. So you got 4 entries, and that will give you the total for your adjustments and eliminations. Now we will go to our last 4 columns. We have now the columns for the income statement and for the balance sheet. So assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity to the balance sheet, while your income, cost, and expenses accounts to the income statement. So to the asset side, again, we have cash, debit total 13,000, cash in transit 1,500. Then we have accounts receivable for a total of 39,050. For our merchandise inventory beginning, it is extended to the income statement because the amount extended to the balance sheet is the ending inventory. So the inventory beginning now is a debit of 31,500 plus 14,400. That makes it 45,900 minus the credit because of intercompany overvaluation, 2,000. So the beginning inventory is adjusted to an amount of 43,900 debit income statement because actually it's part of your cost of sales. Then store supplies, we extend under the combined balance sheet, prepaid expense, combined balance sheet. Then our furnitures and fixtures, 12,100. Branch accounts already eliminated. Then we have retained earnings. It's a debit. So we have now retained earnings. In other words, as of December 1, there was a retained earnings deficit of 6,850. Then we extend purchases to the income statement, 31,700. Shipments from home office is now eliminated, credit minus debit. Advertising expense to be added with salaries and commissions, store supplies expense, miscellaneous selling, rent expense, depreciation, and miscellaneous general expense. So we now have the income statement figures. We have the cost of the inventory beginning, we have purchases, and then we have the expenses. Then for merchandise inventory end, 36,850. That's the amount after adjustment. 36,850 is to be extended to the balance sheet. Debit side is to be extended to the balance sheet debit side because it is an asset. While in the income statement, we extend sales and our merchandise inventory at the end. Actually, we extend that to the credit column. That's your ending inventory. The beginning inventory is extended to the debit side. Okay? So take note in the income statement columns, on the credit side, you have your revenue and deduction from cost. That's your ending inventory. On the debit side, we have your cost of sales items, including beginning inventory and purchases. And we have your expenses. So finally, in the balance sheet, you have your assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity. Now, for the debit side of the income statement, 99,326. For the credit side, 101,700. So the credit side total representing revenue items is greater than the debit side total representing cost and expenses. In among the assets and liabilities, assets on the debit side is greater than liabilities and shareholders' equity. So take note, you are adding to the debit side of the income statement and to the credit side of the balance sheet. It cannot be that you add to debit and credit. No. Once you add to the debit side of the income statement, then you add to the credit side of the balance sheet. We have now our net income of 2,374. 2,374. Wala nag-end daw. Okay? So we now go to, we are through with requirements 2 and 4. Let's now go to requirement number 1. Requirement number 1 is your balance sheet and the income statement for the branch in the home office. Requirement number 1, prepare individual statements for the branch and the home office. Requirement number 3, prepare combined statements. So now that we already have the covering, adjustments, and elimination entries, and we also have the worksheet, it will be easier for us to answer requirement number 1. Now we have the individual statements for the branch and for the home office. Okay, so we now end up with nag-end ng song. Wala. Wala. Dapat ma-end siya. 11. Nag-ano ka? 12:15. 12:50 ka. Dapat ma-end na. Okay, so nag-end daw. Continue lang. Problem number. Okay, requirement number 1. Let's stop here. For requirement number 1, we have the individual statements of the branch and the home office. So the branch now will record its assets. The merchandise inventory of 14,600, and then the store supplies, prepaid expense, and the total assets of 33,544. For the accounts payable of 4,200, and then we have your accrued expenses in the amount of 105. And finally, your home office account after the corresponding adjustments. Now take note that your home office account is found in the books of the branch, and that is corresponding to the balance of your branch current account. So the balance of the branch current account is also equal to 29,239. Now you post the beginning balance, and then based on your adjustments and elimination entries, you are going to post the corresponding debits and credits. So we have now your total liabilities. Now for the income statement of the branch, we begin with sales, then merchandise inventory beginning, 14,400. We add purchases, and then we add shipments from home office at billed price. So we now get the total merchandise available for sale. Then we deduct the ending inventory of 14,600. That's the ending inventory of the branch. So we now get the gross profit and deduct all the expenses. So you can merely refer to the debit side of your worksheet. If you already have the worksheet, you only look at the debit side of your branch, no? Column for expenses. So just copy your expenses account balances. So that includes your depreciation and miscellaneous. And the total now is 8,921. Take note that the operating expenses exceeded the gross profit. So 8,921 minus the gross expenses of 14,100. Then you get now the operating expense of 8,921. You have a net loss. This is the loss of the branch before recording your intercompany profit on your ending inventory. Now we go to the balance sheet of the home office. For the balance sheet of the home office, you can merely refer to the balance sheet column or the assets, the liabilities, and the shareholders' equity of the home office. So now you have your assets. You merely look at your column in your worksheet for your last two columns. So cash and cash in transit, we have accounts receivable, merchandise inventory, and only for the home office. And you have now your store supplies after adjustments, your prepaid expenses, furniture and fixtures, deduct the accumulated depreciation. So you now get the book value of 5,915. For the liabilities and shareholders' equity of the branch, we now have, or I mean the home office, we have accounts payable, accrued expenses, capital stock, and now we have the retained earnings of only 4,476. If you try to determine the balance of 4,476, initially, the retained earnings beginning is 6,800. That's your retained earnings beginning. Then we have the net income of the branch. And the net loss, I mean, of the branch, and the net income of the home office. The net income of the home office is 3,645, and the net loss of the branch is 1,271. 1,271. the total income of the home office and the branch is 2,374. By the way, if you look at the individual income statement of the branch, you will notice that the net loss of the branch is 3,021. But based on our last closing entry, we are deducting from 3,021, 1,750 your intercompany profit on inventory. So, the net income or loss of the branch, actually it's a loss. The net loss of the branch is 3,021 minus 1,750. Where did I get 1,750? You refer to the last closing entries of the branch. 1,750. Now you have the closing entries of the branch involving 1,200, 1,750. The last entry there in the books of the home office, the home office, is to debit unrealized intercompany inventory profit. Unrealized intercompany inventory profit by 1,750 and credit branch income summary. Branch income summary. So those are now the entries and the figures that you are going to include in the individual statements of the branch and the home office. We go to, let's continue with the individual balance sheet of the home office. Among the assets, cash, 10,350, cash in transit, 1,500, accounts receivable, 26,200, merchandise inventory, 24,200, store supplies, 380, prepaid expense, 350. Furniture and fixtures, 8,500 minus accumulated depreciation of 2,585. So the net book value of the furniture and fixtures of the home office is 5,915. Okay? So we have now the branch account in the books of the home office has a balance of 29,239. And that we deduct the unrealized intercompany inventory profit of 1,950. So the balance of the branch account in the books of the home office is 27,289. We have the total assets. How about your liabilities and stockholders' equity for the home office? Accounts payable, accrued expenses, capital stock, and now the deficit. Initially, it was 6,850. Then we add the net income of the home office and deduct its net loss. So that will give us 4,476. Okay, so I have actually ended up for this very long problem. But anyway, with our liabilities and shareholders' equity, again, we have 96184. And for the income statement of the home office, We now begin with sales. Then you have cost of goods sold, inventory beginning, add purchases. We deduct shipments at cost and deduct merchandise inventory end. So you get your cost of goods sold. 26,400, the gross profit is 18,450. We deduct the operating expenses. You have the list. Okay, so we have to include rent, depreciation, miscellaneous general. After, if there are corrections. So your last amount in the individual income statement of the home office is the combined total income. If the home office has a net income of 3,645, but the branch has a net loss, so the combined income is 2,374. Okay, then we are going to any other questions? Okay, combined income statement for the home office and the branch. So what you will do is to refer to the worksheet. In the worksheet, you have the last two columns. The last two columns are the assets, liabilities, and your shareholders' equity of the home office. So for the combined income statement for home office and branch, we now carry sales, 64,850, then merchandise inventory on December 1, 43,900, and that's after adjustment of the 2,000. We add purchases. We now get the total merchandise available for sale. We deduct the inventory end or December 31 for 36,850. Your gross profit is 38,750. So finally, we get the gross profit, and from the gross profit, we are going to deduct the total of adding 5,650, 6,600, 840, 2,900, and 4,200, 121, and 3,415. So it gives us the combined net income of 2,374. Now you can check its correctness if you refer to your income statement. Okay, now we go to the combined income statement of the branch. Combined income statement, I mean, of the home office and the branch. Okay, and above, you may have your combined assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity. Okay, so we end up with this problem. We have finished. Let's go to the multiple choice problems. And the multiple choice problems, okay? Now, for the multiple choice problems, we have so far only up to for chapter, I'm now in chapter 14 for the multiple choice problems, beginning with number 1 only up to number 1 up to number 44. Then the theories, you only have 1 up to number 26. Okay? So let's now go to the multiple choice problems. The multiple choice problems, and now after that we have the theory. Okay? For the multiple choice problems, in number 1, the overstatement in the branch inventory at December 31, 20x4. The answer is letter C. So letter C, we now divide the build price of 50,400 times 40 over 140. So 54,400 is taken by multiplying the build price of 50,400 by 40 over 140. Then we go to the number 2 requirement. Compute the branch ending inventory that should be presented in the combined statement. So in requirement number 2, the answer here is, how about the branch ending inventory? What's our final answer? Ending inventory in the combined income statement is from home office, 50,000 minus 6,600. 50,000 minus 6,600. That's 43,400, and then we multiply that by 100 over 40. So 140, I mean. So 50,000 minus 6,600 times 100 over 140. So it means 43,400 times 100 over 140. That gives us 31,000 from home office. And we add from outsiders of 6,600. So the total is 37,600. The answer is B as in boy. We go to number 3. The requirement in number 3 is the true branch income. So the true branch income is computed as branch net income 5,000. Branch net income 5,000. Then we add deduct overvaluation of cost of goods sold, realized profit. Overvaluation of cost of goods sold, realized profit from sales made by branch. Shipments from home office, 280,000. Less ending inventory at build price. Less ending inventory at build price. 50,000 minus 6,600. So 43,400. The difference is cost of goods sold from home office at build price. Cost of goods sold from home office at build price. So 236,600. We multiply it by the markup, that's 40 over 100. So 236,600 times 40 over 100. You get 67,600. And we deduct the unrecorded branch expenses. We deduct the unrecorded branch expenses that of 2,500. Unrecorded branch expenses of 2,500. 500. The difference is the true branch net income. The true branch net income is letter A, 70,100. That is the branch true net income. In number 4, in 2006, home office shipped inventory costing 60,000 to its branch for 90,000. At the end of 2006, the branch reported 30,000 of this inventory in its absence, equal the amount of unrealized intercompany profit at the end of 2016. So in number 4, that's letter A. Letter A is the result of multiplying 30,000 times 90,000 minus 60,000. So 30,000 multiplying by 30,000. 30,000 times, open parenthesis, 90,000 minus 60,000. So close parenthesis here. Repeat number 4, 30,000 times, open parenthesis, 90,000 minus 60,000, close parenthesis, over 90,000. Over 90,000. So the answer to number 4 is A. Number 5, in 2086, a branch sold inventory it had acquired from its home office in 20x5 at a markup of 8,000. Which entry is required in the combining worksheet? Entry number 5. Then what will be the answer? A branch sold inventory it had acquired from its home office in 20x5 at a markup of 8,000. You got the 8,000 markup for this, no? So the question is in number 4, how much is the amount of unrealized intercompany profit at the end of 2006? So number 4 is A. Number 5 is still A. 6 is dog. A home office ships inventory costing 40,000 to each branch at a transfer price of 50,000. The markup percentage rounded using the branch cost basis is. So for number 6, you got 50,000 minus 40,000 equals 10,000. You divide that by 40,000, so you get 25% markup on cost. Markup on cost. So again, 50,000 minus 40,000 equals 25%, no? Markup on cost. So 50,000 minus 40,000 over 40,000 equals 25% markup on cost. So number 6 is D as in dog. 7, in 2016, a home office shipped inventory costing 400,000 to its newly established branch at a transfer price of 480,000. Okay, in the branch year and closing entries, The branch charged 360,000 of this inventory to cost of sales. The adjusted general ledger balance in the intercompany profit deferred account at year-end should be. So in number 7, 480,000 minus 360,000 times 80,000 over 480,000 times 80,000 minus 480,000. So you get the result. The rate is 80 over 480. So that is 1/6. So how many percent is 1/6? That's 16.67%. 16.67%. So what is the requirement in problem 7? The adjusted general ledger balance in the intra-company profit deferred account at year-end should be. So it's now 0.61667, and you multiply that by 120,000. By 120,000. So 120,000 times 0.1667 will give us 20,000. So the answer to number 7 is letter C. In number 8, for the year ended December 31, X6, the adjusted financial statements of a home office and its branch show net income of 700,000 and 100,000 respectively. At the end of 20X5, the home office adjusted the intra-company profit deferred account by debiting it for 40,000, leaving a balance of 10,000. The combined net income for 20X6 is 700,000. Since the problem stated that the home office adjusted the intra-company profit deferred account, and the amount of 700,000 is the amount of net income in the adjusted financial statement of the home office, and therefore it's understood to be combined net income. So our answer to number 8 is letter C. 9 and 10, use the following information for question 9 and 10. For the year ended December 31 to X6, selected line items from the home office and the branch columns of the combining statement worksheet follow. So we have now in the home office books, cost of sales for 500,000, branch 100,000, branch income 50,000, net income 180,000 of home office and the branch 30,000. Intra-company profit deferred, home office 6,000. 9. What amount would be reported in the combined column for cost of sales? What amount should be reported in the combined column for cost of sales? Now we have this computation for number 9. Reported or the unadjusted net income. Reported or unadjusted branch net income per branch books. Reported or unadjusted branch net income per branch books is 30,000. Then we have the branch income insofar as the home office is concerned. Branch income insofar as the home office is concerned. Per home office books, 50,000. Overvaluation of branch cost of goods sold is 20,000. So the overvaluation of cost of goods sold of the branch is 20,000. Cost of sales of home office, 500,000. Cost of sales of branch, 100,000. So the total is 600,000. We deduct the overvaluation of 20,000. The difference is the combined cost of sales of 580,000. So it's letter B. Number 10. What is the combined net income as reported in the combined column? The amount of net income as reported by the home office is considered to be the combined net income. So, number 10 is letter C. The combined net income is the one reported by the home office. Now we go to questions numbers 11 and 12. Questions numbers 11 and 12. Questions numbers 11 and 12. Record wala? Record. The income statement submitted by the Pampanga branch to the home office for the month of December 20X4 is shown below. After effecting the necessary adjustments, the true net income of the branch was ascertained to be 156,000. So you have sales, 600,000. Cost of sales, inventory beginning, 80,000, shipments from home office, 350,000, local purchases, 30,000. So the total goods available for sale, 460,000. Then we deduct the inventory on December 31 of 100,000, a difference of 360,000. That is your cost of sales. Then, we deduct the operating expenses, leaving us the net income of 60,000. The branch inventories were December 1 and December 31. Merchandise from home office and the local purchases, and we have the total inventory on December 1 and the inventory on December 31 for 100,000. The billing price based on cost imposed by the home office to the branch is computed as, in number 11, the billing price is 140%. So how do we find 140%? The true branch net income is 156,000 less the branch net income as reported by the branch. The branch net income as reported by the branch is 60,000. So we have the overvaluation of cost of goods sold for 96,000. Less cost of goods sold from home office at billed price. Less cost of goods sold from home office at billed price Inventory, December 1, 70,000. Shipments from home office, 350,000. So the cost of goods available for sale is 420,000. Then we deduct the inventory December 31 from the home office of 84,000. Now, actually, we do not involve in the analysis the local purchases, the fact that they are recorded at cost, whereas the shipments from the home office are billed at above cost. So we now get 156,000 minus 60,000. The overvaluation is 96,000. Inventory beginning 70,000. Add shipments 350,000. The cost of goods available for sale 420,000. We deduct 84,000. The difference is 336,000. Deduct 336, deduct 96. The difference is 240,000. The cost of goods sold from the home office at cost. So, the cost of goods sold from the home office at cost is 240,000. Cost of goods sold from the home office at cost is 240,000. So how do we get now the billing price? 336,000 divided by 240,000. So 336,000 divided by 240,000. That gives us 140%. That gives us 140%. So for number 11, it's 140%. 12, the balance of the allowance for overvaluation of branch, December 31, 20x4, after adjustment is equal to 24,000. That's the allowance for overvaluation after adjustment. So we now multiply 84,000 by 40 over 140. 84,000 multiplied by 40 over 140. Repeat, 84,000 multiplied by 40 over 140. So number 12 is B as in boy. Now we go to number 13. Following is the income statement of XYZ branch in Cebu City Company for the 6 months period ending June 30, 20x4. So we have the sales in the amount of 620,000, cost of goods sold, no beginning inventory, shipments, 550, purchases, 50. So the total goods available for sale, 600,000. Deduct inventory end from the home office, 75,000. From outsiders, 10,000. So 600,000 minus 85,000. The balance is 515,000. That is your cost of goods sold. 620,000 minus 515,000. You get 105,000, the gross margin. Then we have to deduct the operating expenses. The net income is 20,000. The home office ships merchandise to and builds the branch office at 125% of cost. The rent of the branch office for 6 months at a monthly rate of 1,000 was paid by the home office. The home office net profit from its branch office in Cebu City for the 6 months ending June 30 is. Okay? So we now compute for the branch net income. We begin with net income as reported by the branch, 20,000. Net income as reported by the branch, 20,000. Less rental expense charged by the home office. Rental expense charged by the home office. 1,000 times 6 because we involved 6 months. 1,000 times 6. So we have 6,000. 20,000 minus 6,000 equals 14,000. The adjusted net income as reported by the branch is 14,000. Add overvaluation of cost of goods sold. We have now your inventory beginning is 0. Then we have 550,000 shipments from home office. Shipments from home office is the total goods available for sale. Then we deduct 75,000 your ending inventory. So the cost of goods sold at bill price is 475,000. The cost of goods sold at bill price is 475,000. We multiplied that by the markup ratio of 25 over 125. So 25 over 125, we get 95,000. The true or the adjusted real branch net income is 109,000. The true or the adjusted or the real branch net income is 109,000. So you have the answer to number 13. As letter B as in boy. Next, 14, summary of the adjusted trial balance for the home office and branch of TJ Corporation at December 31, 20x4. So we have now the home office and the branch with the corresponding debits and credits. So among the debits of the home office is the branch account. Among the debits of the home office is the branch account and shipments from home office supposed to be. This is shipments to branch, no? But you know, this is among the debits, so shipments from home office is in the books of the branch. Shipments from home office among the debits. And among the credits, you have shipments to branch in the books of the home office. Okay, so we now have the accounts of the home office and the branch, including other assets, inventories beginning, then purchases for the home office, then expenses, and dividends. Among the credits are other liabilities, capital stock, retained earnings, then home office. You get a credit of 175,000 in the books of the branch. However, in the books of the home office, the account appearing is branch with a debit balance of 200,000. In the books of the branch, the account appearing is home office with a credit of 175,000. The unrealized profit in branch inventory among the credits of the home office. Then shipments to branch among the credits. And you have your branch profit of 62,500. Additional information, the home office ships merchandise to its branch at 120% of home office cost, at 120% of home office cost. That is why the shipments to branch is 200, while the shipments from home office is 240. So meaning there is an excess of 40. Okay. If you divide that by 200, that will give you 20% billing above cost. Now, the inventories of December 31, 2024 are 70,000 for the home office and 60,000 for the branch. The branch inventories at transfer prices. So compute for net income and for cost of goods sold in number 14. Compute for net income and for cost of goods sold. Okay, so we now begin with sales. In number 14, sales is the total of 537, 500, and 300,000. So sales, 837,500. Then we deduct cost of goods sold. Merchandise inventory beginning, 50,000 plus 45,000 over 1.2. 50,000 plus 45,000 over 1.2. So you are going to add 50,000 and 45,000. And you divide the total by the billing rate of 1.2. So what will be the result? Then you are going to add purchases. You are going to add purchases for the amount of 500,000. Total goods available for sale. The total goods available for sale, you are going to deduct your ending inventory. So what are the figures? What are the figures? For the beginning inventory, you are given 50 and 45,000. 50 and 45,000. Okay. So you now get add purchases. You have only one amount, 500,000. Goods, cost of goods available for sale. And then you are going to deduct your ending inventory. What are the ending inventory figures? Ending inventory figures are here given. The ending inventories of 70,000 for the home office and 60,000 for the branch. The branch inventory is at transfer prices. So in other words, we have our ending inventory is 70,000 plus 60,000 of the branch. Amo na ang i-divide mo sa 1.2. 60,000 divided by 1.2. So that makes it 50,000. Okay? Repeat cost of goods sold. Merchandise inventory beginning. Repeat dira ha. 50,000 plus 45,000 divided by 1.2. 50,000 plus your 45,000, i-divide mo ina sa 1.2. So you get 87,500. So bali ang imo yung inventory sa home office, 50,000 gid. Ang inventory sa branch, 45,000, i-divide mo sa 1.2. So you get 37,500. Amo na ang iyang cost. Then you add it to 50,000. You get 87,500. Add purchases, 500,000. So the goods available for sale is 587,500. Less your ending inventory, 70,000 ang iya sa home office. You add it to that of the branch is 60,000 divided by 1.2. 60,000 divided by 1.2 is equal to 50,000. So you add 70,000 and 50,000, you get 120,000. So goods available for sale, 587,500 minus the ending inventory of 120,000. The difference is 467,500. Amo nang imo nga cost of goods sold. Then we get the difference as the gross profit. From the gross profit, we deduct expenses. Expenses amounting to 170,000. 170,000. So the final net income is 200,000. The final net income is 200,000. That's in column 1. Net income, 200,000. Cost of goods sold, 467,500. So your answer to number 14 is letter D, as in dog. Next, we go to number 15. What are the questions? Compute for the overvaluation of cost of goods sold in number 15. And compute for the adjusted branch net income. Okay? So you have two things to compute in number 15. Compute for the adjusted branch net income and also compute for the overvaluation of cost of goods sold. So let's begin with number 15, overvaluation of cost of goods sold. Computed as unrealized profit in branch inventory before adjustment, unrealized profit in branch inventory before adjustment. Now you can find this in the books of the home office, 7,200. So unrealized profit in branch inventory before adjustment, 7,200. Less allowance of ending branch inventory, allowance of branch ending inventory is equal to 20,000 times 84%, 20,000 times 84%, equals 16,800 times 20 over 120. 16,800 times 20 over 120. So you start with unrealized profit before adjustment, 7,200, then deduct 2,800. Deduct 2,800. So the difference is 4,400. That is the overvaluation of cost of goods sold. The overvaluation of cost of goods sold. Then we compute for the adjusted branch net income. Adjusted branch net income is sales 60,000. Sales 60,000 less cost of goods sold. Less cost of goods sold. Inventory January 1, 30,000. Inventory January 1, 30,000. 30,000. Add purchases. Add purchases. 11,000. And shipments from home office. So add purchases, 11,000. And shipments from home office, 19,200. So add purchases, 11,000, shipments from home office, 19,200, and your inventory on January 1, 30,000. So the total cost of goods available for sale, is 60,200. Less inventory on December 31. Less inventory on December 31 of 20,000. Inventory on December 31 of 20,000. So you now get your cost of goods sold at 40,200. Cost of goods sold is 40,200. And then you deduct that from sales of 60,000. 60,000 minus 40,200. You have gross profit of 19,200. Gross profit 19,200. Less expenses of 12,000. Less expenses of 12,000. So 19,200 minus 19,800, I mean. 19,800 minus 12,000 is 7,800. Unadjusted branch net income. Unadjusted branch net income of 7,800. Unadjusted branch net income, 7,800. Then we add the overvaluation of cost of goods sold. Add the overvaluation of cost of goods sold in the amount of 4,400. Overvaluation of cost of goods sold in the amount of 4,400. Okay, so your adjusted branch net income, is 12,200. Adjusted branch net income is 12,200 and number 15 is D as in dog. Okay, number 16. Using the same information in number 15, determine the combined net income of the home office in the branch and the branch for the year 20x4. So for number 16, we begin with sales, 180,000, cost of goods sold, inventory beginning, 40,000 plus 6,000, inventory beginning, 40,000 plus 6,000 plus 24,000 divided by 1.2. So inventory beginning, 40,000 plus 6,000 plus 24,000, i-divide mo ina sa 1.2. So that gives you 66,000. 66,000. Then add purchases, 70,000 plus 11,000. 70,000 plus 11,000. So you get 81,000. The total cost of goods available for sale is 147,000. 147,000. Cost of goods available for sale. 147,000 minus ending inventory. Minus ending inventory. Ending inventory for 40,000 plus 3,200 plus 16,800. That amount of 16,800 is to be divided by 1.2. So 40,000 plus 3,200 plus 16,800 divided by 1.2. So that gives 57,200. 147,000 goods available for sale minus 57,200. Cost of goods sold is 89,800. 89,800 deducted from 180,000. The gross profit is 90,200. So 180,000 minus 89,800 equals 90,200. Then 90,200 less expenses of 40,000. Net income is 50,200. That is letter C. Okay? So for the rest of the problems, I will give you the letter answers. Try to solve them. So number 17, dog. 18, dog. 19, dog. 20, dog. 21, dog. 22, boy. 23A. 24A. 25, boy. 26C. 27, boy. 28, dog. 29C. 30. 30 is A. 31A. 31A. Okay. So you have number 31 only, where the answer in number 31 is A. Okay. Then I skip 32. I skip 32. 33 dog. 34 dog. Okay. 35C. 35C. 36 boy. 37C. 37C. 38C. 39 dog. 40 dog. 41 boy. 42 boy. 43C. 44C. 45 dog. Okay? For the theories, we begin with 1 to 19, true or false. 1 to 19, true or false. 20 to 26, multiple choice. True or false. Number 1, true. Number 2, false. Number 3, true. Number 4, true. 5, false. 6, false. 7, false. 8, false. 9, true. 10, true. 11, false. 12, true. 13, false. 14, true. 15, false. 16, true. 17, true. 18, true. 19, false. 20 dog, 21 dog, 22A, 23 dog, 24 dog, 25A, 26C. Okay, you try to review on the problems. And by the way, tomorrow we will have our weekly exercise. I'm going to give it at 7:40 in the evening. I'll give the quiz tomorrow at 7:40 in the evening. 7:40 in the evening. But that's only 1 to 20. Okay? Tomorrow, we are going to have class morning, afternoon, and evening. And after the evening class, then I'll give the quiz. Okay? Dapat yan na. Dur, na away na patay-patay yaw.